Alright guys, welcome to a slightly impromptu live hangout and a slightly dimly lit live hangout because it's absolutely sweltering outside, being that it's July, and I've got the shutters down so there's no light coming in and it's a little bit cool, got the fan off to the side, and yeah, it's a lot more tolerable like this, so hopefully you can see and hear me perfectly. Let me just quickly go to the comments, if we get any. Can't be on too long this time because I've got approximately 29 minutes before I have to get the washing from downstairs in the washing machine. But yeah, I was supposed to be meeting up with James at Rampant Lion Beer Reviews today in Munich because I was going to be going to Munich with Jeannie. Not going to get into that because it's nothing serious or anything like that. In fact, it's not really, an issue at all. But we were supposed to go to Munich, but Jeannie's gone because she had an appointment. And yeah, I think Wednesday next week we're going again. So yeah, I think James will have left by then, which is a real shame. But I'm hopefully meeting up with him here in Regensburg on the Monday. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it now. It's just things just pop up at the worst possible times, so it's been really hard to settle a date where I can meet up with James and his cousin. So if you're watching this, my friend, hope you're having a great time in Munich so far, and yeah, maybe there'll be some footage if we do indeed meet up on Monday. Rub all that dirt off my foot. Yeah, so I mean, I've been doing quite a bit of the housework because it was just pointless. Both was going to Munich today, just an unnecessary expense. And while she's there, I can, get some stuff done around the apartment because things are a little bit hectic because we will most likely be moving from Regensburg in around October time for her uni, so we're getting all that sorted and we're going through all our DVDs, CDs and things to throw away, things to sell. So yeah, James could not have picked a worse possible time to want to meet up, but like I said, hopefully on Monday I'll be able to catch up with him, and when I'm in Munich on Wednesday, fingers crossed, I might have a couple of hours to myself so I can go to Biervarna and get some more beers. And yeah, that's the topic of today's video. Is beer. It's a beer review channel. Why wouldn't it be? And this is sort of a response to Jay, aka Ron, aka Louisiana Beer Reviews, and he did a 3-part hangout because of technical difficulties, thanks to the wonders that is Google and YouTube, which is, I shouldn't really bite the hand that it doesn't feed me whatsoever, but I shouldn't bite the hand that gives you a platform to release content. But fuck me, these people don't know how to run a website. They fix things that don't need to be fixed. They get rid of stuff that made YouTube what it is. They introduce stuff that nobody asked for, nobody wanted, and there's always problems. I mean, unsubscribing from people, you have to resubscribe, videos just disappear, all the copyright bullshit, advertising bullshit. It's just, YouTube is a mess. Much like I'm personifying YouTube right now. I'm a red hot mess because I've been out and I think I've caught the sun a little bit. That's why my hair I look like a human Lego piece. But yeah, so he did a video series. Well, it's supposed to be a 1-part series, but technical difficulties, about legacy beers and legacy brands. Stuff like Miller, sort of like those places in America, you know what I mean, like breweries that have been around for absolutely ages and are still here. And of course I thought I'd do my own little response and concentrate on traditional German beers, because you can't get more of a legacy than that, can you? Speaking of which, got one to hand. Got one of my all-time favourite beers, which does appear on this little list, so we might as well start with this one. This is the Schlenker Rauchbier Märzen, clocking in at 5.1%. Absolutely adore this beer. And I think James is making a trip over to Bamberg, which is a place I'd absolutely... It's criminal that I've not visited Bamberg yet. But, you know, one day. And I'll get absolutely levered and smell like a barbecue, because smoked beers are just, even if they're really aggressively smoky in flavour, I wouldn't care because I love that flavour profile. Chilled this down a little bit, not too much, so it's not, you know, just a cold mess. And I've got 3 views already, so cheers to you guys. Feel free at any point to leave comments in the live stream. And of course, for anybody watching this after the stream is finished, give me some of your examples. And of course, I've put a link down below to Jay's channel. This was an idea that was come up by a regular panelist of his, William Kepley, who I don't think has a YouTube channel, but he's on Jay's channel quite a bit when they do the examinations and whatnot. So yeah, just click that link down below. I think anyone who's watching this either knows or is subscribed to Jay already. So I've got a couple of notes. Won't go on too long. So yeah, the Schlenker Rauchbier Märzen, very handsome beer indeed. Just that's fun. Sometimes, and I don't do this often, but well, it's 4 o'clock now. It's not exactly mid-afternoon, but you know, if I've been out and about today, there's just something so satisfying and not about a nice chilled beer, especially when it's in like that lager sort of territory. That's why I really enjoy lagers, to be honest. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. I still need to review a lot more of the Schlenker beers. But yeah, the brewery dates back to, I think it was always a brew pub from like 1405, but it became a proper brewery at 1678. And I don't have specific dates for the Rauchbier Märzen specifically, but I do believe that this is a beer that was brewed from hundreds of years ago, from the 17th century onwards. And it's an iconic beer. I mean, Schlenker, or the Brauerei Heller, isn't the oldest Brauerei. Is it? Would you call it a Rauch Brauerei? But it's not the oldest smoke brewery in Bamberg. I think that's the Spezial brewery, which I've never tried any other smoked beers from Bamberg aside from Schlenker products. I need to remedy that pretty damn quick. It's got to be gone before I end this stream. But yeah, so I believe that this was brewed from around 1678. And it's an iconic beer, known the world over. Whether you love it or it's not your thing, I think most people have at least tried one of the Schlenker beers. And to me, it's just one that, even in the height of summer when it is, and let me have a quick look at what temperature we've got right now, even though back in the UK, we've been having a lot of warm, well, say warm, blisteringly hot temperatures. Even though it's 19 degrees in my hometown of Skelmersdale with chances of rain. I wish I had that right now. But here in Regensburg, 29 degrees. I'm too white for that shit. You know, I could listen to Ice Cube and this would be more whiter than me listening to Ice Cube. Even though I do friggin' love Today Was a Good Day. That's probably my favourite rap song of all time. Not that you wanted to know. At least we'll get rain at 5 o'clock in the morning. Fuck you. I don't understand how that's preferential temperatures for people. You probably can't even see that, but tomorrow it's going to be 29, then Sunday 26, Monday 22nd. At least there's going to be rain and thunder and stuff. But yeah, it doesn't matter even in that temperature. A beer like this, chilled down a bit. I mean, come like towards the latter end or latter part of August and September, when it becomes more autumnal, I would drink this more at room temperature. But chilled down slightly, you still get such a robust and pleasurable drinking experience. And I can get them for less than €1 a bottle, so I should have something like linked up to my water system here. Are you LFC, EFC, or Tranmere fan from Aussie Brew? I used to be a really big Everton fan, but I just really fell out of love with football, to be honest. Just the money side of it, managers getting sacked like 2 months into the career at a certain club, and the footballers themselves wind me up. Plus, being away from England, you obviously don't get to go to Goodison, which I used to really enjoy the day out of going to watch Everton at Goodison Park. But I don't know, I still look every now and then. I mean, I know some big things have happened for Everton fairly recently, but if it's on TV back at home, because my brother's a massive fan, as is my dad. They go to the game, not as much as they used to, but yeah, when it's on TV back at home, I'll sit down and watch it, have a few beers, shout at the screen like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to refereeing decisions and managerial decisions and whatnot. But yeah, Everton FC, not the fan that I used to be, just in football in general. I love playing football, even though, again, as you could probably tell by this, I've not kicked a football for God knows how many years. But yeah, so that was the first beer on this list. These aren't in any particular order, by the way. I just started off with the Rauchbier because I'm drinking a Rauchbier. So the next beer, excuse me, of course, it's not for me. It's Genie's work. So, hope they don't leave a message. Fuck me. And I don't want to answer the phone to people. There we go. See, some people are just as antisocial as I am, so it's all good. Anyway, on to the next beer. Going over to Munich now. Going to one of my favourite breweries. And one of the big boys. And we're going over to the Paulaner brewery. And the beer in question is the Salvator Doppelbock, which it's not my favourite Doppelbock, but I think it should be mentioned because it's the beer that essentially created the style. Did a review of that fairly recently, so all potential reviews of these beers. Although I have not reviewed one of the beers that I thought of, so thankfully I've got a bottle in the basement which I can just pop open and do a review of and enjoy the beer, even though I was saving it for like a... Nobody needs to know. Nobody cares. But yeah, Paulaner Salvator. The brewery dates back to 1634, and the beer has been brewed for over 375 years. Not too sure when that initial blurb was written on the Paulaner website, or how regularly the website is updated with that sort of information. And plus, my maths is terrible, so 375 years ago, yeah, that's dating pretty much back to around about the same point in the 17th century, I suppose. But yeah, again, another iconic beer. The beer that spawned so many different beers, not only here in Germany, because most traditional breweries have a Doppelbock. But of course, in America, Doppelbocks are really popular in America than German beers in general. I mean, you can get Paulaner over in America, and the beers that the other breweries that they're involved with, and some of the beers that they distribute. So, very recognizable name, and a brewery that even back in the UK, you can pick up some of their beers in the supermarkets. And yeah, Salvator, it's probably a little bit harsher than some of the other Doppelbocks that you can get. The alcohol is fairly more evident in it, so it's got that little bit of a... It's not a harsh edge. It's still a pleasurable drinking experience. But yeah, I thought, why not credit the beer that helped create probably my favourite sub-style. because, as I said, I'm a massive fan of lagers in general. Being here in Germany, why wouldn't you take advantage of Hellas beers, Dunkel beers, export beers, unfiltered lagers like the Zwickels, Keller beers, Land beers, Dunkel beers, Box, Doppelbox, Weizenbox, even though there's that, I don't know. Like, you know, Hellas box. What else we got? And then you've got like stuff like Pilsners, and just surrounded by such a rich culture. Why would I not take advantage of it for most of the time less than €1 per bottle? Oktoberfest beers, Fest beers, Märzens. There's so many variations on the style, and I've said this time and time again. You cannot just blindly say that all lagers are piss water, tasteless, bubbly tosh, because, quite frankly, there's so much range from the style. There's so much you can do. You can add contemporary twists on it. You can hop it differently. You can use different malts, Kolsch beers. You know, just the list goes on. And if you go into websites like Rauchbier, who's mentioning Rauchbier again, you'll find a hell of, you know what I'm talking about, shit puns aside. But yeah, the Paulaner Salvator, it's the beer that deserves the respect that it gets, I should say. All right, next up, and again from the sort of Paulaner umbrella, and I have got it all written down here, we're going to the Hacker-Pschorr brewery, and it's Oktoberfest beer season here in Germany, just like it is pumpkin beer season back in the States. We're getting all the Oktoberfest beers, even though Oktoberfest doesn't start until, is it the 9th of September, but like the proper festivities start off on the 16th. That's why I'm doing that week of Oktoberfest reviews. Got actually recording the next one tonight, which I'm looking forward to, because it's an Oktoberfest. Well, it's a fest beer in general, but it's one that I've not tried before, so intrigued to try it. To be right, I'm having a couple of days off the beer, so got 0% lagers. Do you ever drink them, and how? And do you know of any good ones? I'm not gonna lie, I don't tend to go towards the non-alcoholic beers. If I'm not really wanting to drink, then I'll probably just end up getting a Radler. But non-alcoholic beers that I've heard good things about. I've heard the Erdinger alcohol-free is a good beer. I think Warsteiner does a good alcohol-free beer. There's a big buzz now about some of the craft beers here in Germany that are alcohol-free. That's where I just can't. I can't justify paying the same amount for an alcohol-free craft beer than you do for a craft beer in general. It just doesn't. I can't justify that. But I don't know. I should give the alcohol-free beers a chance, at least on the channel, because they're a popular beer for good reason, and I understand why they exist. But I don't know. See, at least with like a Radler or a Shandy, you've still got that little bit of beer in there. And from my own personal experience with alcohol-free beers, they just sometimes lack certain flavors. It's been quite a long time since I've had an alcohol-free beer, of course, so take what I say with a pinch of salt. But I think most of the big German breweries who do an alcohol-free beer, I'd say, are highly recommended. So what beers are you drinking then? Because I'm always interested to hear about different alcohol-free beers, even though I'm not a fan myself. But yeah, the beer in question is the Oktoberfest Märzen, which is, even though I'm currently in the middle of recording Oktoberfest beer reviews, it is probably my favourite Oktoberfest beer, and probably my favourite, aside from, I was going to say my favourite fest beer in general, but that would probably still be the Belterberger Kloster Wintertraum, which is the obviously Winterfest beer. That's just that every year. That's just a beautiful beer. But for Oktoberfest beers specifically, even though I wouldn't really want to go to Oktoberfest because of the inflated prices and the amount of waiting in line and just the sheer amount of people, because I hate people. I don't think, even though I think you should experience stuff like that at least once, especially when I'm living in Germany. But yeah, Oktoberfest beers, a lot of people will probably turn their noses up at them. Sort of like the way some people will go back to alcohol-free beers. Some people just blindly turn their nose up at them. You could include me in that, I suppose, even though I understand why they're there and I can respect them. And I completely understand why people would drink them when they want to, just settle down for a little bit, but still have a few beers. Because there is something about, and it's got nothing to do with alcoholism or anything like that, but there's something satisfying about the flavour of beer. I'd happily replace soft drinks with beer because they're much more pure. And aside from the slight buzz, if you drink a few, what's really the difference between, a bottle of Diet Coke and having a couple of beers? There's a really big stigma of people who drink beer. Even though I don't really do it as much, even though, that being said, I will get to a point where maybe if it's midweek and this is like beer number 4 or 5, I'll know that for me personally, I think, whoa, I need to slow down. It's not even Wednesday yet, that sort of thing. But at the same time, I don't see the problem with people having 1 or 2 beers a night. Whether it be a big imperial stout or barley wine or an alcohol-free beer. There's something rarely satisfying about a good beer, and only people who do stuff like this on YouTube or homebrew or have a blog, write about beer, or even simple things like writing reviews on some of the beer websites, we might get seen collectively as, oh, they enjoy the beer a little bit too much. But when people smoke, people eat McDonald's on almost daily basis. They don't get the stigma that someone who likes to have 1 or 2 drinks a night, that sort of thing. Yeah, in moderation, anything's good. Yeah, you can pull the arm with like hard drugs and stuff, but we won't do that. But anyway, Oktoberfest beers, they can be frowned upon. But when you're sat in the middle of Munich on a warm September afternoon, you've got your mates, you've got your family around you, you've got a lovely selection of like Bavarian food. There's nothing more satisfying, I'd imagine, than that big stein mass full of an Oktoberfest beer. And again, it's a common theme throughout all these beers. It just goes to show you that, again, not all beers that are classed within the lager style are shit beers. I don't think I've really had, without maybe 1 or 2 exceptions that I can't even think of on the top of my head, a bad German lager. Yeah, even a bottle of Beck's, it's nothing compared to something that's traditionally brewed by like a family-run brewery or something like that. But even like a German brewed Beck's still has a sense of quality to it. But yeah, the Oktoberfest, that dates back hundreds of years. So some might argue that this is not a list of legacy beers. Legacy can mean different things to different people, and this is how I'm interpreting it. But yeah, the Oktoberfest Märzen, the brewery itself, Hacker-Pschorr, dates back to 1417. And from what I've read online, the beer has been brewed since around 1539. I think they've got information on the Hacker-Pschorr website, but I couldn't really interpret it properly, what they were trying to say with it. But if you look it up, and I'm sure there are people who've wrote extensively about beer who can give you a much more detailed historical account, who've had access to the like the history books, the recipe books from yesteryear, that sort of thing. These are all very rough dates for the most part, so don't quote me on them. But yeah, there's that one, my favourite Oktoberfest beer. I was going to pick Hassan Bock from Felterberg Foster, but I think that's been brewed only since around well, what's the name for? Brewed commercially since like the 80s or something like that, from some of the things that I've read. Even though I think it's obviously got to be based on a traditional recipe. But yeah, I was quite surprised actually with the Hassan Bock. Anyway, next beer, going over to the Schneider Weisse brewery, which dates back to 1872, and my favourite beer from the Schneider Weisse brewery, and it's the beer that I actually need to re-review for the channel, even though I am planning to do Schneider Weisse, well, this beer, the Aventinus, sort of spoiled the surprise there, with the Aventinus Icebox, having a little bit of a beer off with those. But yeah, the Schneider Weisse Aventinus. I'm by no way a wheat beer fan. I just can't drink wheat beers. I get so gassy, bloated. Have you ever shat water before? Because that's pretty much what happens if I do a session on wheat beers. A little bit of TMI there, I do apologise, but I'm sure some people can relate to that. How people can enjoy wheat beers more in the summer, I have no idea. I just find them too heavy. There's nothing really refreshing about a wheat beer, I find. But that just be me and how my body deals with wheat beers. But yeah, the Aventinus, that is such a beautiful, beautiful beer. And again, I could pick it up for just over €1 for a 500ml bottle. So it's not a beer that you could drink regularly, because it's about 12% or something like that. Well, that might be the Icebox variant of it, but it's still a hefty ABV for the beer. But it doesn't drink heftily. It's such a lovely, quaffable beer, and so complex. Lovely fruity tones in there. It's like desserty tones, like dessert liqueur, big, bold. And yeah, Schneider Weisse, another one of those brands, especially when it comes to like the Tap X series. They're very popular, and I've only managed to try one of them. But yeah, when it comes to wheat beers, they have to be brewed like this, or have something done to them. Maybe some fruit has been brewed into the beer, sort of like Schufferhofer's grapefruit Radler, the grapefruit Weizen, like 2.5% grapefruit beer. If you love your grapefruit flavour and you want a lovely creamy body, then the Schufferhofer, sounds funny when I say it like that, the Schufferhofer grapefruit Radler that they do, just a beautiful, beautiful beer. And it's when you do something like that to wheat beer, like a regular Hefeweizen, it's not going to do anything for me. It could be Weihenstephaner wheat beer. Very high quality beer, world class, don't get me wrong. But I'll drink that and I'll be like, it's okay. Even my beloved Augustiner, which I've still actually got to do a proper review of the wheat beer. Their wheat beer just doesn't thrill me at all. So when you like put these lovely hops in there, or when you like barrel age it or make it an Icebox, or just bulk up those hops. I know pale wheats are really popular, especially back in the States. Adding hoppiness to it, you get a lovely body. You don't get that like heaviness. You still get the heaviness in terms of the feel. But I think that hoppiness and flavours can help lift those sorts of beers. But yeah, wheat beers in general just really don't do anything for me. But Schneider Weisse's Aventinus, such a lovely treat every now and then. So I'll quickly have a look at the comments before I go on to my final beer. And yeah, Erdinger's a good one, yes. The Brewdog Nanny State, not bad either. I want to try the Nanny State beer, just out of interest, just to see what the flavors are like. I know it's like with the, is it the Vagabond, the gluten-free beers? Again, another style of beer that the ones I've tried have just been, yeah, doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, Nanny State, the washing's done. I think I can get this wrapped up pretty soon. Dean's Beer Reviews, a fellow live reviewer. Hello, Peter. Hello, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And then Aussie Brew writes again, Beck's Blue today, not bad. See, that's the thing with Beck's. Even though I'm in Germany, the varieties of Beck's seem to differ slightly. Well, they probably don't. I've just not really looked into it. But Beck's Blue, I always thought that was more of one of those like mixed beer drinks, where it's like mixed with like an energy drink or like blueberry or something like that. Didn't realize that was the alcohol-free version. You know, I really will. I think that I was actually thinking about alcohol-free beers earlier today, because I was at when I was coming back from shopping, popped into the Eastern European supermarket that I've been visiting fairly recently, because they've got a very good range of beers. And I saw that Baltica, the 0.5, the pretty much alcohol-free one, and I was like, I don't think I'd really want to buy something like that. But, you know, maybe, you know, because I like to think that my channel caters to a lot of people, and I know a lot of people do, you know, enjoy the odd alcohol-free beer, so I could tap into that market, I suppose. But yeah, Beck's Blue, I'll look out for that one, actually. I'll have to keep that one in mind. So my final beer, then, on this list, and it should be no surprise as to what beer this will be. From the Augustiner brewery, it is, of course, the Lagerbier Hell, aka the best beer in the world. I love craft beer. I love seeing brewers doing weird and wonderful things to pre-existing styles. I love to see barrel aging. I love to see, you know, mixing hops that don't usually go together, or creating malt builds that, you know, you wouldn't even imagine, and that sort of thing. But if you were to just give me like a palette of Augustiner Lagerbier Hell, that'd probably move me more than if you were to, like, don't get me wrong though, yeah, if you were to give me like a crate of all the white whales in America, like, you know, your Heady Toppers, your Pliny the Elders, you know, these like Firestone Walker, like insane quadruple barrel aged like imperial stout with, you know, this exotic fruit from wherever. I'd still, yeah, I'd probably break down into tears of joy with that as well. But yeah, just a simple crate of Augustiner Lagerbier Hell, fantastic. And going back to James, hopefully he can go to one of the Augustiner places in Munich and try it fresh from the big barrels, because I'm not a religious person, but I think that is the closest thing that I've ever had to a religious experience, if that makes sense. Just a phenomenally easy drinking yet tasty beer, and I'm sure Dean will agree with me on this one, because we did a live review of it, which, if I remember, I'll put that link down below as well. But yeah, the Lagerbier Hell brewery dates back to 1328, and I couldn't find a date at all for when the beer was like initially brewed, but I think it is, from the sources that I looked at, cop out answer I know, but somewhere in the 19th century, even though I'd imagine it was fairly earlier than that, to be honest. But yeah, the Augustiner Lagerbier, whenever I get the opportunity to talk about that beer, I talk about that beer to the point where I reckon regular viewers are just so fucking sick of me gushing about that beer. But yeah. You know, if I was to ever leave Germany, I would seriously miss having access to Augustiner. That would almost destroy me. I was there talking about not being a slave to beer and that sort of stuff, but yeah, that beer to me is just sheer perfection. And God, I've been talking for ages. My throat's starting to seize up. So yeah, that was just 5 examples of what I would class as legacy beers. Different people's interpretations of what a legacy beer is may differ. But what I will do is I'll welcome people who are watching now, and of course to the people who are watching after this review's been uploaded to YouTube as a broadcast. Give me your ones. Like what sort of, like, I don't know what time frame you put in it. Maybe pre-1950 or, you know, turn of the century at least beers, maybe. Yeah, from around that area, from around latest 1950. So if you've got any beers that you can suggest, either do your own video, leave it in the comments down below. Thank you to everyone who's watching this. Of course, massive thank you to both Ozzy Brew and Dean's Beer Reviews. Always a pleasure to receive comments from anybody, and I'm glad that people watch. And I hope anyone who's watching this after I've finished and it's uploaded, I thank you, and I look forward to seeing some potential comments. Of course, go check out Jay at Louisiana Beer Reviews, and I will try and remember, because I like to, you know, treat people right. And yeah, check out Ozzy Brew and Dean's Beer Reviews down below as well, because I really, really appreciate you guys taking the effort to. I'm just sat here talking shit in front of a camera on an afternoon, and I appreciate you guys sitting there and watching me just blather on. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video at least. I've enjoyed the conversation, and I've enjoyed talking about some really fantastic beers. So give me your own. And yeah, I've still got a little bit of beer left. Happy days. See you guys later.